So now that I've got the PVC instrument built, I've been thinking about a couple of videos I want to make. One of the ones I want to look at is The Forge by Blue Man Group. It's a great video. There's an acoustic version. I'll put a link in the description, but it is all PVC. There are 3 PVC stations playing through the Forge. That one seems a little easier. Now, part of my problem is I've got one PVC station, I guess, one PVC instrument. You know, when I did whip it, I kind of split screen and had myself on one side and myself on the other doing it, but it would be really difficult to get 3 sections here. There's just not a lot of room. You know, I think the instrument sounds great playing the intro into Forge. So I think the instrument's perfect, but I was saying, well, maybe I should just build another little station. And it looks like the lowest note, I've only got, I think it's 4 or 5 notes. I don't remember. I think it starts with A and I don't remember where it goes from there. I actually think it goes down. So I'm gonna need to probably start on this A and work my way down. But I like the sound of the lowest A there. But anyway, I was thinking, you know, the problem is, one of the things I like about the PVC instruments is it's supposed to be something accessible. It's supposed to be something cheap so anybody could build one. Well, it's not cheap. I can tell you that from my experience building this. You know, it's just like everything. Inflation's killed everything right now. PVC pipe is really expensive. The 10-foot sections are really expensive. The elbows, you know, the 90s and the 45s and the couplers, everything's expensive and it adds up really quick. So I started thinking, well, is there something I can do to build another PVC instrument using materials I already have? And that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to walk you through how I build my second PVC instrument, but using materials I can source around the house. Now, you may or may not have these materials, but I had them. So I'm going to see if I can use them. Now, I'm not going to make a 32-note instrument like this one. This one took a lot of work. Like I say, I only need 4 or 5 notes to play the Forge for the low end side. So I'm just going to make it for that purpose only. And I'm going to try to make it where I can always come back and add more notes later. If I'm playing a different song and it's got a couple of different notes, I could add a few more. You know, if you look at Blue Man Group, theirs aren't laid out like a traditional marimba, like a traditional piano. Theirs are laid out with just some notes. Some of their instruments have multiples of some notes, multiple scales maybe. Some of them only have a single note if that's not a note they use often. So that's what I'm going to be on the future PVC instruments I do. It's just going to be what notes I need to play the song I'm working on, and then I can always come back and add more later. All right, so I've been sitting here thinking, what could I possibly use work on my next instrument? And I've got an idea. So hold on one second, I'll be right back. All right, this is what I'm thinking. I've got a tub of old, I would say shop vac parts. Any kind of vac would probably use some of these similar parts, but I've had numerous Rigid brand, shop vac brand. I actually have a DeWalt brand now. So I've got quite a few of these parts. And the minute I saw it, I was like, you know, this kind of reminds me of the, so think about the Blue Man PVC instruments, the one that they carry. They have a harness and they wear them during the show and they play the Who song on it. You know, they're walking around, they have the flexible pipes in them. So I was like, well, this could be definitely something to use. I've got a few of the flexible pipes. I've got a lot of long sections. And I was kind of going back and forth. You know, Blue Man Group also has the instrument, I don't know what you call it. It looks like a PVC instrument, but the part that you strike, they don't just hit it with a rubber mallet on a flat piece of PVC like I was doing earlier. They actually have like a 4-inch piece of PVC. They cut it at an angle, and then they put something that makes it kind of like a drum head on it, and they strike it with a drumstick. And I was like, okay, that sounds like maybe I can combine the two. You know, let's say the mobile PVC instrument of the Blue Man Group and the one that's struck with a drumstick, and see what I can come up with. Now, I'm not planning to make it mobile. I'm not planning to wear it, but I got to see what I can come up with. So I'm going to start putting some of this together. First thing I got to do is take these and get them cleaned up. They were used outside for a little bit. We used them to drain some water out of our pool. So they set out on the grass a little bit, and I need to get them cleaned up, and pretty sure there's some spiders and other gunk in there that needs to go away. So I'm gonna get it cleaned up, and then I'm gonna start kind of putting something together, and we'll play with the sound and see what it sounds like. We'll be back. All right, I got all the vacuum parts cleaned up. It's, you know, they set out on the porch and dried off there. And then I went and grabbed them, and I was putting them in the tub here, and went to pick up one of the little parts, and a little scorpion ran out. Luckily, he got acquainted with the bottom of my shoe before I got acquainted with his tail. But anyway, I came back out here, and I was just starting to kind of play with making it a little bit of an instrument and see how it works out. I've got some 2-inch pipe clamps that were left over from when I ran conduit out to this building. And I just clamped down one piece of the tubing here of the hose, and I'm going to see what I can come up with. That I probably need to make it a little bit longer, so I'm going to grab a couple of pipe pieces here. Ooh, wrong way, and get that over there. Okay, that will work. And I need to find something to actually, because what I don't think is going to make a good sound, no, there is no sound there. So let me see. Let's try a couple things. Little bit of resonance with that one. Not enough to do what I'm looking to do here. Where did everything go? Try this one. Nope, nothing there at all. Let's try one of these, see what we get. That might. That's actually not a bad sound. I'm not sure what's coming off in the camera. I mean, obviously from where I am, you get a lot of attack, but if you're down where you hear what's coming out of here or what's coming out of here, you get a lot of the effect, almost like you would with, yeah, that's interesting. Almost like you would if it was hitting a normal PVC. Now, one thing I did want to try before I fully commit to that, let me find one more piece in here. All right, so I've got the 2 pieces here just to see. Yeah, so definitely you get the normal PVC sound when you do it like that, but that's not quite what I'm going for. What if I... Now, of course, if I turn the mallets around and play them with the stick side, much more attack, much less resonance there. Now, of course, I'm going to have to, this is wanting to vibrate loose, so I'll have to come back and put a clamp here to hold this down. Okay, I think that's a good start. And I've got, if I remember right, I've got 3 of these already in here and 3 hoses. So then I'm just going to need to start varying the lengths to try to find the right notes. But I'm going to start working on that and start thinking of a way I really want to mount it. This is just a scrap piece of wood that I've got here just to play with it. But I need to come up with something to mount 3 or 4 of these. Figure out how the hoses are going to route, where the pipes are going to come out. And then I can start cutting the pipes to the actual length I need to get the notes. All right, I took the footage I recorded out here the other day, and I was kind of shocked. Going back, listening to the footage, there was not a lot of resonance in what I could hear. Now, you know, again, if I'm just hitting it right here, I do hear most of the attack of the mallet hitting the vacuum. I don't even know what you call this piece, vacuum piece, but anyway. But if I lift this up, you know, and I'm really hearing, I mean, I don't hear the attack here. I hear a really cool sound coming out of here. So this is the sound I'm wanting to figure out how to replicate. So I think what I'm going to do is take my other Rode Wireless Pro mic and put a lapel on it. And I can stick the lapel kind of inside the tube a little bit. And I'm going to see what that sounds like. Again, I can't hear this now. I'm kind of going with it as we go here. But, you know, we'll see how it works out. Okay, here you can see I've got the, can you see that? I've got the lapel mic attached inside of the tube. So now I'm going to go ahead and start hitting it and see what we get. Okay, well, I guess I'll listen to that inside and see what I get from there. And, you know, I was in there looking at the instrument the other day that the Blue Man Group have. It's a little bit of an odd instrument, right? It's got the tubes that come out from the sides and kind of go up. And I was looking at it, trying to figure out, well, how do they do it? Where do they mic? You know, where does the sound come out? And I had kind of a realization. I'm not sure those instruments are really producing sound that you're hearing. Best I can tell, if I look at it, it appears that those instruments, the ones they carry with the hoses on them, are simply triggers and MIDI controllers. They're actually some way triggering, you know, when they hit the PVC pipe and the sound transmits, it looks like maybe it hits a trigger and then it hits a MIDI controller. And, you know, they're just placing their own sounds in there to get the sound they want for the song. For the, I know it's not called Teenage Wasteland, but that's what I call it. And anyway, I definitely not wanting to do a MIDI controller here. I'm not wanting to do triggers in a MIDI controller for this for this instrument. So I'm going to go ahead and try this again. I'm going to take it in and see what this sounds like and see if that kind of gets to the point of what I was wanting to get to sound-wise. All right, so I did go ahead and add 2 more. I don't have them completely clamped down. I'm out of clamps. I need to go buy another set or 2 of 2-inch conduit clamps, but I've at least got this set up now where I can have 3 different tones just to kind of hear what it sounds like. You know, I kind of figured out if I hit here, hit down there, I get a really dead sound, but definitely get some resonance if I hit up here in that little window right there. No idea how good it's going to sound on the video, but I've got the Rode mic set up over here, so it's just picking up the sound coming out of these 3 tubes. Again, you know, my goal is to kind of do this, maybe get 5 or 6 different notes on it. Not quite there. And of course, got to come up with a name. I actually had a revelation while I was thinking about this. You know, these are usually called Rimba tubes or something like that. How about calling these vacuum tubes? That name's never been used before, right? Anyway, I just thought that was funny since everything pretty much is going to be made out of vacuum parts from, you know, shop vacs. But anyway, maybe I'll call them vacuum tubes anyway. I think that's a cool name. So I'm going to still work on getting something designed to hold this, but I think this is the kind of layout I would have. Maybe have 3 on one side, 2 or 3 on one side, and 2 or 3 on the other side. And then the tubes kind of come out the side and maybe go up to the top, and then have these, you know, just sticking straight out as a way to you know, force the sound out of a certain location. But having them all 3 kind of grouped together works, and eventually maybe all 6 would be grouped together. That way, you know, you just kind of mic it in one location instead of trying to have 6 different mics all over the place. But that's what I'm thinking. All right, so we're about halfway done with this instrument build. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video here. We'll do a part 2 where we actually build the actual instrument. This is just kind of figuring out what parts to use and how they work and how they're gonna sound. I've got through with that. I still need to find a couple more of these. That's turning out to be a little more difficult than I thought. There are places that sell new ones, but they're a little pricey. Kind of shocked at how much some of the parts are for these. Then I see people selling them on Facebook Marketplace. You know, I swear they're going to buy a brand new shop vac and pulling all the pieces out and trying to sell the pieces for, you know, however much they paid for the shop vac. But anyway, I'm still trying to find it. I need at least 1 to 2 more of the crevice tools. I actually looked up the name of the thing, and 1 or 2 more hoses. I've got plenty of pipes itself, but I'm going to try to find all the pieces. Kind of have an idea in my head of how I want to design the overall instrument, but I'm going to get that and we'll work on that in part 2. Thank you guys for watching.